Hey everybody, it's me, CloudConnection. It's time for the yearly tradition, I suppose. In addition to celebrating the new year, it's also time to look back at another year of doing this YouTube thing. And man, what a weird year 2022 was. Where I more or less just sort of abandoned game reviews and retrospectives in favor of a bunch of other projects. And, you know, I like how those projects turned out. I like the content I produced this year, but I feel like something's been missing from this channel all throughout the year. And I want to get back to what CloudConnection's all about, not just because that's the type of content I want to create, but also because I think my analytics and all of my viewership is slowing down a bit. And I'd like to correct that before it becomes a huge problem. Now, to be clear, I super appreciate every one of you who watches my stuff, who's given me compliments, who said that I'm one of their favorite YouTubers. I've gotten a couple of those comments over this year, and I am so grateful for that. I can't stress enough how much that means to me, but I want to take this channel a little more seriously, and not just have it be a sort of dumping ground for just random ideas I have. I want to get a little more structure back into this. Now, one of the big reasons why I couldn't do that this year is because I simply just did not have the time to do it while I was also working a full-time job. Now, I don't want to get into specifics, but I am no longer working at that position as of November, which has freed up a lot of my time to really work on videos. But also, that job mentally affected me as well. I wasn't really happy with that work. It wasn't that the people there were bad. They were actually, you know, very nice and friendly and very supportive. It was just, I don't think I was the right fit for the position. And as a result, it made me a little more apathetic towards my work in general. Not just for them, but across the board. You know, I got away from retrospectives because I thought that that was restricting me. I thought that it wasn't allowing me to do what I really wanted to do with YouTube content. But really looking back, I think it's just my heart wasn't into making videos this year. Because of things like my job and personal stuff going on. I had a couple of major depressive episodes this year, and I'm, you know, seeking treatment for that. I'm in therapy now regularly, which is great. It's helped me quite a bit, at least just kind of coming to terms with a lot of things. But now that I have the time to, you know, work on this channel again, I want to turn it around. Oh, and by the way, don't worry about me financially. I have picked up some freelance work that will help keep me going for now, alongside all the ad revenue that I'm making from YouTube. And also, to be honest, I've wanted to push towards a part-time YouTube workload for a while now, and though I didn't exactly anticipate it happening this soon, I am at a crossroads now where the opportunity is there and it seems like a viable possibility. So I have decided I'm gonna go for it. I am fully committing to YouTube in 2023, more or less as part-time work. Not just because I want to get back into the channel and start really ramping up videos again, but I do want to start making the leap towards YouTube as a career. I know that it's risky to do that, but I do believe that if I work hard enough at it, and work smart enough too, I think it could work out, and I want to give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, well then, you know, I'll figure something out. Let's focus on the stuff that you probably clicked on this to hear about, which is what am I going to be producing in 2023? Now, next year is actually going to mark the 5th anniversary of CloudConnection. I started this channel in March of 2018, or at least that's when I started uploading CloudConnection videos. And this channel's grown a lot since then. I want to make it even bigger and better. Come late January, we're going to see essentially a soft CloudConnection reboot, and I'll explain exactly what that means through this content plan of mine. I do have a few smaller videos planned for early January, and I'll explain some of those later. But it's going to be more loose stuff, just sort of things I can easily cobble together while I prepare some really big projects. First and foremost, I have announced this before in YouTube posts, but video game retrospectives are back. Now, these are going to be long form, at least 20 minutes, probably most of them I'd say would be about 30 to 40. Some are going to probably go even longer, and some are even going to be multi-part retrospectives. I am bringing that back as well. And these are going to be more critical analysis, theme breakdowns, examining a game's influence over time, maybe how the mechanics really solidified something in the industry, and much less about the surface level details. I want to make retrospectives stand out from reviews, so they're going to have a more deeper aspects to them. And not just, that I cover everything about a game, but that I cover it in a meaningful way. Now, as for some of the games that are getting retrospectives this year, the first one on the agenda is Celeste, which was actually the subject of the second video I ever uploaded to this channel. And that review has been privated, so you can't see it anymore. But I am going to give Celeste the attention it deserves come late January, around the time of the game's 5th anniversary. I'm also going to be talking about the Legend of Zelda series again, because Breath of the Wild's 5th anniversary is also this year, so in early March, I'll be looking at that game as well. And also I'm going to be leaping into the Grand Theft Auto series with a look at Grand Theft Auto 4, which is a game I hold pretty dear to my heart, and that retrospective should go up in late April. There's plenty of other games that I want to do retrospectives for. Some I plan to do this year, some will be later, including some series that I've been meaning to tackle or revisit for some time now. I also want to address the Mass Effect retrospective that I teased early in 2022, but ended up having to postpone indefinitely just because I was not a fan of how the script was coming along. That was back when I was really not in the mood to do retrospectives, so I had to put Mass Effect on hold. I think it was also a little too ambitious for me to try to do all 4 of those games in 1 year, even as separate videos, because those require a lot of attention. I can't promise that that retrospective series is going to start this year, but I promise you I will look at Mass Effect at some point. So next up, in addition to retrospectives, I am bringing back video game reviews. This is going to be a separate series, and the series actually has a name. This series is called Breaking the Backlog. It's a series of reviews where I look at games that I've either never played, never finished, or just that I want to talk about, but don't necessarily need a deep dive like a retrospective. Like a lot of platforming and retro games will probably get this treatment because they maybe don't have a lot of depth in the story or in the, how they influenced the gaming landscape as a whole, but they're still fun and I want to talk about them. Or maybe they're not fun and I want to rip on them for a little bit. These are going to be more short form. I'm aiming for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes per video, and they're far more structured, talking about the gameplay, the story, the world, the sound, the graphics, etc. in every single one. And while the retrospectives are going to be more serious examinations, almost like video essay style, I want this series, the Backlog series, to be a little more fun. Not like joke heavy or anything, they're not going to be comedy pieces, but I want to be a little looser with them as well, as far as the tone is concerned. Now, late in 2021, I asked my audience what games they'd like me to cover between Kirby 64, Sonic Adventure, and Jet Set Radio, with the promise that I'd do videos on all 3 of those games, and I've done Kirby 64, and was planning to do Sonic Adventure in mid-2022, but then I stopped doing reviews altogether for a little bit, and Sonic Adventure had to get pushed back. But Sonic Adventure will be the debut episode of Breaking the Backlog, which is planned for early February. And as for other videos in this series that I'll be tackling, of course I will be doing Jet Set Radio, hopefully this year. I can't exactly say when it'll be, but also some ideas I have for this one. I want to do the original NES Metroid game. Kirby Air Ride is another one, because that's getting its 20th anniversary this year, as well as Diddy Kong Racing, which is another game that I planned to do the previous year. I actually planned to go back to reviews late last year, but that didn't end up working out, so I'm going to be talking about that game this year as well. As for the Lupin the Third retrospective, the Legacy of Lupin, as I mentioned in the last video, the Legacy of Lupin videos, like the full retrospectives, those won't return until February as well. I kind of want to improve the editing on those a bit, really kind of refine them, so I need a little bit more time to really get that together. I do have a few Lupin videos planned for January, because I had the idea a little while ago to do some first impressions videos for Lupin as new projects debut. And we have 2 coming out in January. Well, one's already out, Lupin 0 has been airing, and that's going to end in a few weeks. I want to do a first impressions after the final episode. And the Lupin's vs. Cat's Eye crossover movie is also debuting later in the month. These are just going to be short, quicker videos on my first thoughts. They're not going to be super in-depth, they're not going to be super, refined opinions or anything. And also, to be clear, these are not replacing the retrospective going forward, because both Lupin 0 and Lupin vs. Cat's Eye will get full Legacy of Lupin videos eventually. But if these first impression videos do well, I would love to do more whenever other projects premiere, and Considering how much Lupin we've been getting lately, the anime is more than likely going to continue for a while, so I'll have plenty to talk about. There are some other video ideas I have for one-time stuff, more challenge videos, or miscellaneous stuff like lists and essays, etc. I'm also going to be continuing that Pokemon rating series with my brother, more as a passion project because those are definitely not something I do for views. But those are definitely going to be more sporadic, just something to shake things up every once in a while, but not something you can count on regularly. Lastly, I want to talk about briefly what I'm planning to do with all the secondary stuff that's in relation to this channel, specifically the Patreon page, my Discord server, and streaming on Twitch. My Patreon page is going to be getting a full relaunch within the next couple of months. You can expect more viewer benefits and actual tiers this time. I've been treating it more as a tip jar, and that option will still be available, but I do want to have more actual concrete benefits for people who want to support me. I also want to be more active in my Discord server, as well as promote more discussion in there, more regular discussion. I really want that to be a nice hangout space for people who enjoy my content, but also want to talk about other things as well. I also need to go through that server and really clean it up. There's a lot of servers that don't get used. Again, this will be something that'll be more fully relaunched and re-advertised in the future. Now, as for Twitch, this is something I need to determine if it's something I want to continue doing. It's fun to stream, I like streaming, but I need to figure out if it's worth the time and effort to stream. So sometime in 2023, I don't know when, I plan to start a 6-month streaming trial, essentially, where I'm going to be streaming for 6 months, probably 2 to 3 times a week, 2.5 hours at a time. I'll be playing various games, maybe tie things into videos that I'm releasing, or maybe do like CloudConnection watch parties. And if after 6 months are up, I'm not seeing any major returns on the Twitch front that make it worthwhile, I'm probably gonna stop streaming altogether. I will announce when I'm back to doing regular Twitch streams, so keep an eye on my Twitch page schedule and also my YouTube posts, because I'll be posting when I'm streaming that week there. But I just need to figure out if streaming is really a fit for me or not. And maybe it is something that is worth continuing. I want to figure that out sooner rather than later. Anyway, that's really about it from me, guys. If this video seemed a little rambly, maybe a little incoherent, I do apologize. I have been working a lot to get this stuff ready for you. And this update video, I sort of realized, like, oh shit, I need to do something to give you guys an idea of what's going on. Maybe like a day or two ago. And realized, like, oh god, I gotta put that together really quick. Just know that there is a lot more stuff planned for 2023. I really want to make CloudConnection a incredible channel. I hope you're ready to take that journey along with me. This channel cannot survive without you all, whether you're just watching every so often, whether you watch all the time, whether you comment a lot, whether you share the videos around. I'm the creator, but you are the driving force behind my videos getting noticed, my videos getting shared and discussed around. And I appreciate that so much. For now, this is going to be CloudConnection signing off. I hope you had a great new year, and I will see you all later.